Thank you for joining us today for our Wellness for You session. We're filming today at our Amby Reichsman Community Health Center, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. To those joining us, we're filming today at our Amby Reichsman Community Health Center. We're going to get started in just a few minutes.
Everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our
Fourth
session
of this series. I said wellness. It is Wellness Wednesday, but this is our Wellness for You series on this beautiful Wellness Wednesday. So welcome back. You have now been with us for 3 sessions, virtually 3 sessions. And those of you that was with us before the pandemic, you had the privilege of being with us for many sessions live and in person. So hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. But for now, we're going to have some fun, continue to have fun virtually.
Thank you to all of you who have submitted comments, questions, pictures. Remember to keep those coming. You can do those both now while we're live, and then later if you want to watch it again, or if you're watching this on video after the fact, you can always submit pictures, comments. We love to get them.
Yeah.
Don't forget to fill out surveys at the end, and thank you to those that have filled out the surveys, because we've been able to make some changes to how the flow goes and everything based on your feedback. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, it sure is. We definitely tweak what we're going to do with the next session, and what kind of resources we find to have on our Wellness for You Facebook page, as well as our wellness resources and recipes we put on our wellness page on our NFP site. So other than the evaluation and the surveys that we asked for you to complete, and you guys are so gracious to do so, be sure to share and like and comment and stay throughout the session today and engage with us, because it makes it so fun. We're already fun, but it makes it more fun to engage with you guys and knowing that you are communicating with us from the comfort and safety of your home. And we have some more impromptu challenges for you guys, because that went off really well last time. And just, again, complete the survey and evaluation at the end, because Madison just showed you when she first started the table of raffle prizes. and gifts and goodies that we have for you guys. And it's all different type of cool kitchen tools and support equipment that kind of go in tandem with all the themes that we've had over these past 4 sessions. So stay tuned, engage, share right now, go invite your family and friends so they can be live with us and we all can have a good time.
Yeah, and congratulations to those of you who have participated in the past, which puts you in the running for these fabulous prizes. And Michelle's a master at finding things that will help you make these meals at home. So yeah, comment, say what you want to say, and then maybe you'll win something great.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into the 4th session.
Now, summer is just about over. Most of the things that we've talked about so far have been around like summer foods. Although we did talk about the My Plate, putting a rainbow on your plate, healthy summer desserts, cooking out, barbecue.
A lot of good topics.
Yeah, but all outside and regarding summer. So now we're settling down a little bit. School might be about to start in your home. So what we thought we'd talk about is some one-pot meals, some great family meals that you're not going to have to pull out a ton of dishes to do. And what else? Oh, September is Family Meals Month. So we thought that would be a good way to get prepped for next month too. Just simple, easy things that you can utilize what you've got laying around and put together some really healthy meals that fit on the My Plate and that include a rainbow and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we have 3 great, tasty, hearty one-pot meals that we're going to get going with. You'll see Kelly start it off, then I'll pick up, and then Kelly, she'll come back with another great one. So like she said, you'll see things that you already have in your pantry, in your fridge, in your freezer. So we're just going to get creative and show you how we throw some things together on our end for our families, and we invite you guys to do the same thing. Yeah.
All right, Madison, if you follow me over here, this is a very popular dish in my family. It's called a Greek skillet. It's only Greek because of the seasonings that I'm using. Ooh. And we're using kind of a skillet, a plug-in skillet here, but you could certainly do this in any kind of pot on your stove top. And my meat's getting a little brown here. All right, so this is ground meat and some onion that I'm just browning in here. Now, we don't really cover a lot of food safety, or we haven't until now, because we were doing vegetables and fruits. And while you want to wash all those things and make sure you're washing your hands when you're cooking, when it comes to cooking meat, just be especially aware of washing your hands before and after you touch any of this stuff. This is all pre-cooked, so this is pretty safe up here. But if I were handling this meat when I first took it out of the package, I'd want to make sure that I wash my hands and keep all my other ingredients separate, just so I'm not cross-contaminating anything. But once the meat and the onion is brown, what we're doing here, this is one of those layered kind of step recipes. You're putting in some beef broth, and it calls for a can of 14 ounces of beef broth, which is a little more than 1.5 cups. So because I bought a big one from Aldi, I'm just going to measure out that many ounces here. And you're putting the beef broth in there. Now, if you can find low sodium broth, that's always preferred. And in fact, the recipe that you can download online is taking into account that it should be like a low sodium beef broth. But you know, this might be something you have in your pantry already. So you're using about 14 ounces of that. And then what you're going to do is add the pasta. And this is part of this one pot magic. You don't have to cook this pasta in another pot because you're going to cook it right in here. And it calls for 1.5 cups uncooked. So, ooh. And even though it calls for penne pasta, you can use any type of pasta that you have in the house. Now, ideally, this would be whole grain pasta for a little nutritional kick. But I just happen to have this box of penne from Aldi again. So I'm going to put that right in there, and that's going to cook. So what I'm going to do is cover this, let it simmer for like a good 8 minutes so that that pasta can become nice and tender. But pretend we're waiting 8 minutes. So fast forward 8 minutes. Okay. Now we're going to put the rest of the ingredients in. It calls for frozen green beans. Now, what I wanted to point out about this recipe that's great is you can use any green beans. If you have frozen, that's fine. Maybe you picked some up from the farmer's market after our last Wellness for You, and you froze them because you weren't quite ready to use them. Now's the time. So you're just adding the frozen green beans right in there. And these will get nice and tender as, you know, it's already boiling a little bit. So that's good. Diced tomatoes. So I did happen to find diced tomatoes with no salt added at Aldi, which is good. Just gonna put that in there. So when you talk about a rainbow on your plate, I mean, in this one pot meal, we've already got lots of nice colors here. And I mean, this is 3 food groups already. We've got vegetables, grains, and some protein in there. Now, I bought the leanest ground meat I could find, but possibly you have ground meat left over from another recipe you made, or just some in your freezer that you didn't have plans for. So you can use any type of meat here to start. Just want to drain the fat off if possible. I bought really lean ground meat, so there wasn't a whole lot of fat in there to drain off, but this looks great already. It smells good too. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and I mean, technically you could use maybe the whole can, because what are you going to do with the rest of that tomato paste? You're just going to sit in your refrigerator. Put it all in there if you'd like. I'm going to follow the recipe if I can get it out. Put about a tablespoon of that in there. And then finally, this is what makes it kind of Greek, is the seasonings. It calls for cinnamon. Yes, that's right, cinnamon in a beef dish. Garlic powder and oregano. And I have already measured this out for our TV magic. So that is the combination of seasonings that goes in this dish. Now take note, I did say garlic powder, not garlic salt. This is a relatively low sodium recipe, especially if you can find the low sodium broth in there. So not garlic salt. And if you wanted to use fresh garlic, perhaps you picked some of that up at the farmer's market too. You could always put fresh garlic. Remember, anything that you use fresh instead of dried, as far as herbs go, you're going to want to use twice as much fresh, because the dried is really concentrated. So you're getting a lot of flavor out of what I put in there, what the recipe calls for. But if you choose to use fresh garlic, just make sure you double that up. But we're going to let this do its thing. Last thing that you're adding in ahead of time is feta cheese. So now we're adding yet a 4th food group to this dish. It calls for 3/4 of a cup, which happens to be what this container is. But what you're wanting to do is just put about a 1/2 cup of that ahead of time. And you can cook that right in there. It'll mix in, it'll melt, and it'll make it a little creamier. And then we're going to put the remainder of the feta on top before we serve it. Okay, so there it is. There's 4 servings in here, which is quite a bit. And you're getting 4 food groups. So perfect 1-pot meal. I'm going to cover this up and let it do its thing while we let Michelle show you another 1-pot meal.
Hi, everybody. All right, so over here, we have some more goodness that we're going to pick up where Kelly left off. So some of the ingredients that she has, you will find in this recipe also, and then you will also find some of the ingredients in the last recipe. But this time, we're going to use chicken breasts within this recipe instead of ground beef or ground turkey or whatever your meat choice was for that specific recipe. So this recipe is called a lemon chicken stir fry. And with stir fries, we made these quite a few times within our programs, our Wellness for You program, Wellness Wednesday programs, and other cooking class sessions we've had here at NFP and in the community with our folks. And what I find that's so eye-opening is how amazed people are at how easy it is to throw together some stir fries. So people tend to have stir fry when they go out and eat at different Asian restaurants. That's where you see it the most, is where it's the most popular. But you can literally make a stir fry out of anything, and we're going to show you that today. So in this pan here, these cool pans that we have, you can do so much in here, by the way. So if you ever wanted one, they're at all different kind of stores. We got this for about 30, 40 bucks at Walmart, and it holds so much. So in here, we already have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts already chopped up. They're strips. we actually got this out of the freezer section. If you do not have it in the freezer section, you could use a leftover rotisserie chicken. They now sell them everywhere, any of your grocery stores, and they could range anywhere from $4 to $6 for rotisserie chicken that's already done. And a lot of them already come flavored with lemon, or it could be what's some more flavors they have there? It could be a regular one, a lemon one, sometimes like a Southwestern. Love Southwestern. So you just take off, if you want the skin, I prefer to have skin, but some just depend on the recipes. Sometimes I take off the skin, and you can have that chicken or anything you want, really. That's the cool thing about stir fries. You can literally put anything in it. It could be a completely meatless stir fry for a meatless Monday or whatever you want to call it. So in addition to the chicken, we have different type of veggies, and we're going to show you some other cool things. So to start this one off, it's pretty simple. This is the fun stuff, the kitchen gadgets the kids tend to love to utilize. But with the grater, you want to be careful, because I have grated my skin before a time or two. You definitely want to be careful with that. So I'm not sure if you guys remember from our last session, one thing I told you guys, anytime you are about to do anything with citrus fruits, you want to put a little press to them and roll them with the palm of your hand around in a circle, because that helps distribute the juice evenly, and it kind of removes that flesh from the skin, which makes it much easier to juice it and to cut it. So with this, I'm just going to zest the lemon. And while I'm doing this, if anybody have any questions, any comments, feel free. If you're on there, you can tell me, what do you like to put in your stir fry? And then we can have more dialogue about that. So with this, it calls for about, I want to say about 3 tablespoons of lemon zest, or maybe 2, but I like zesty. So I'll just zest the lemon. And if you can smell it, can you smell that, Madison? If you can smell it right now, lemon zest smells so amazing. You don't want to get too deep into the white part of the lemon. It kind of goes bitter. So lemon zest is pretty strong. You don't need tons, but if we're going to use it, might as well use it. And this is more of a topper. Okay, so look at all that goodness on the back. We don't let that go to waste at all. So we just scrape that in there. Get you some lemon zest. Okay. And then we're going to actually juice this lemon. Be careful there. And with the kiddos, the knuckles out the way, cut that up. Okay. And a little trick I always teach them, because there are seeds on the inside, so you can squeeze it directly in your hand and kind of let the juice, clean hands, of course, and you're making this for your family. Clean hands, soap and water. But you just juice it, and you see how my hands are catching the seeds. So then you don't have to go back in there and try to fish out the seeds. But the liquids is literally just going through my hand like a hand version of a colander. All right. And this is how I'm juicing it. Nice amount of juice. And I'm going to do the other side as well.
Someone commented that they accidentally cut themselves using
A
the
grater.
grater before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone that knows me, my family, especially my husband and my children, they're always like, all right, Mom, be careful. Be careful. I've literally cut myself on so many kitchen gadgets, and I'm super clumsy. I'm not ashamed to say that. Very, very clumsy. All right, so now you just have this left over. Just toss it in there. We'll get rid of that at the end. And then we're moving on to the next part of this. So after you zest and lemon, then you're going to whisk some broth in there, some soy sauce. These are our other ingredients. We're just going to whisk that along with some cornstarch into our lemon zest. Okay. Just a little bit there. And I like the eyeball, just enough where you know you're going to have a nice type of sauce, you know, just the consistency and the thickness that you want for your sauce. So the amount of liquid you can go off of, just eyeball, and not too much soy sauce because it does have sodium. No carbohydrates in these two, but it does have sodium. We did choose the reduced sodium, and we got both of these from Audi. They have them available at that store, under $2 for both, and it's reduced sodium. So those are good options, but we want to be careful. And with the cornstarch, this is a thickener. So we don't have to put that much in there. It does the trick, does its job. And then we'll just whisk that together and set that aside and move on to the next part. I'm going to turn this on while we do that. So as you see, the chicken is already done. And that's the whole purpose of this session today, is literally taking things that you already made and you have in your fridge from previous meal. I know, growing up and even with my family, sometimes family does not want leftovers, or they might eat it for one day and they're like, no, we wanted something else. They don't want it. And then the food go to waste if the mom or dad decided taking it to work for lunch or they try to eat it because they don't want to waste the money. But you can literally take little things here and there that's in your fridge, put it together, and now you have a whole new meal, and the kids are none the wiser, right? So we're going to set this aside. The chicken is warming up again. I don't know if you can hear that sizzle or if you have the smell-o-vision going on there. So you just want to, if you can see the steam, you want to just warm this back up. You can literally take it out your fridge, warm it back up, and let it do its thing. And it says cook it for about 4 to 5 minutes, but we already cooked it for 4 to 5 minutes. So now we're going to add all of our other goodies to it. Over here, you have some mushrooms that's already sliced. You can buy them already sliced. It could be from another meal that you didn't use all of the mushrooms and you have them left over. So you can just toss them in there. You can chop them more if you want. I like meaty meals. Mushrooms are great replacements if you're not going to eat any type of meat in your meals. It gives a great flavor, but also a meaty type of texture. Oh my goodness, that smells good already. And then I'm going to teach you guys a trick of mine and talk a little bit about this forbidden vegetable or forbidden type of frozen situation that happens. When you have vegetables or anything that's like in the back of your freezer and it's been sitting there for a while, and we all talk about the forbidden frozen food, the freezer burn. Nobody wants to freezer burn vegetables or freezer burn meat. And if you get closer, you can actually view like the icicles on there, right? But it turns out that although it might not look that amazing, like it first looked when you bought it from the store, it's not going to do you any harm. It's just kind of like modified the way it looked. It might modify the way it tastes a little bit, but it's nothing that a good dressing can't cover up. But it does not ruin the vegetables where it'll make you sick or anything like that. Now, something is, you can tell when something is past the expiration date, but with the frozen food, they freeze it at the time of its most peak freshness, right? And so it stays there. And what causes that is not having the proper containers where it kind of seals in the freshness. So if we just have it in the bag like this, like most of us do, right? And you kind of roll it up and you don't have it in a really tight air sealed container, you will tend to get the frozen freezer burn on your vegetables and your meats and sometimes even your frozen fruit. It does not mean that it's bad. So you don't have to waste your money and throw it out. You can repurpose it, okay? And this is an easy way to do it. You throw it in with a stir fry or a casserole because you're going to put other stuff in there anyway, and it covers up the flavor and it's perfectly fine. But you still get your nutrients and you save money, okay? And it's there for you to make sure you fill up in your family their food with some good vegetables. So all I'm going to do is throw it in there. Look how pretty that is. And not all of it has the icicles, right? It's only a portion of it. So it's going to do its thing. And because this is already, the things that are frozen, it's already cooked, right? We talked about they freeze it at the point of peak of freshness. So it's already cooked. This is literally knocking off the icicles, if you will. And with what's in here, the vegetables will take on the flavors from the meat, from the sauce, from all the seasonings, okay? And in here, we don't have to add any salt because the chicken was frozen. It has sodium in there. The chicken broth has sodium in there. The soy sauce has sodium in there. And the vegetables have sodium in there. So you don't have to add any extra salt to get great flavor, okay? If you want, you can add Mrs. Dash. Some folks like Mrs. Dash. Or any other type of mixture, the Italian season that we always talk about. Powders, not the salt. You don't need that extra salt because it already has it in the food itself. Okay? So I'm going to set that to the side. And now we're going to add our liquids. Oh, this is the fun one. I almost forgot again, Madison. Last time I forgot to smash the garlic in front of you. So I told them that, sometimes you have just a long day for whatever reason. And when I learned how to do the garlic, I'm not going to do all these garlic. I just always look for the biggest pieces because it's fun. The big piece there. You can show the kiddos. So I'll do at least a couple just to show how to do it and how fun it is. Okay. Let's move some stuff around there. So with the garlic, you just lay it down. It has that tough skin on it. When I first learned how to do it, or when I first used any type of real garlic, because we always use garlic powder, garlic salt growing up, I did not know about doing what I just did. You got to smash it. You smash it with the palm of your hand, and it literally crushes this whole garlic, which I love. So you get all that stress from your day out. Now, the kids can do it with the kid-friendly thick kitchen knives. They love to do that as well and kind of see it smash, like hawk smash. It's fun. But I first made garlic, and I did not know to take the skin off, or made spaghetti, and I did not know to take the skin off. And we literally was chewing on the, I didn't take it off on that side. See, if you don't, it'll stick on there, and you will literally be chewing on the skin within your recipe, your meal. And nobody wants to choke off garlic skin, okay? So be sure to take it off. But fresh garlic is the best. It's inexpensive. You can get 3 bulbs of fresh garlic. I get them from Audi, favorite store to go to shop. It's only 99 cents for 3 big ones. And then that's all you pretty much need. You can put as much or as little as you want. Garlic is pretty strong, but it definitely brings all your meals to life if you're not allergic. And it has some great, great health benefits to it, okay? It does not need to go that long because you can burn it and it kind of ruins the flavor. Can you smell that already, Madison? I'm telling you, garlic is everything, right? And so then you just eyeball, put a little flavoring in there. I'm gonna do grapeseed oil. It calls for vegetable oil, but I just prefer grapeseed oil, or you can do olive oil or avocado oil. It's just your preference, but I personally like grapeseed oil. Just the flavoring of it, something different instead of having the same thing over and over again. All right. Now we're gonna take. Oh look, got a garlic skin in there. Hey, we're at home. Sometimes this happens. You just fish it out. We're gonna take that little mixture that we had. Do you see how juicy it looks? There's no icicles on there. The frozen vegetables look like they would if there were never any icicles on there. Do you see? It didn't change the consistency at all. It's still, I prefer my stir fry a little crunchy, but done. You don't want to buy into anything frozen. But you see, it's not slimy. It hasn't messed it up. It holds well, and it's still going to taste amazing. So we're just going to pour that little mixture in here with the broth, the cornstarch, the lemon. Okay. Scallions. This brings it to life. Scallions and garlic, if you have nothing else, you're winning. Scallions or green onions. Some people call it green onions. All I did was take some kitchen scissors and cut some up. And this is literally things that I grabbed out of the fridge. You would have added in this stir fry other than what I have. In this vegetable mix, you got mushrooms, you got carrots, you got some snap peas, you got broccoli. We have garlic, we have scallions. What other kind of ingredients would you have added in here based on what you normally have at home?
Someone commented, I love using frozen vegetables.
Yes, it makes life so easy, especially when you're busy. I love cooking, but I do not want to stand all day and chop, peel. So sometimes just grab and go.
Yeah, other people are commenting that it looks really good and that they love making their own stir fry recipes.
Good. So I am looking forward to all your pictures. Be sure to post them on the Wellness for You page so we can see how you make your stir fries with your family, because it's super, super easy. And take a picture of how you took different leftovers in your fridge, how it looked before, and then voila, you made this amazing stir fry.
And then
Yeah.
someone else mentioned that they like using asparagus.
Ooh, asparagus. I didn't think about that. I like the thickness of asparagus. Yeah. Like if you're grilling asparagus, or I like to do it like all season long or all year long in the oven. You can pop it in a broiler and do a quick roast of the asparagus. Chop it up if you got some left over and throw it right in the stir fry. That's a good one. I really like it.
And then someone else said to add cilantro.
Ooh, cilantro, herbs. You can't forget the herbs. And guess what? I don't have any herbs in here. We'll call the scallions herbs for right now, huh? We'll go with that. That's the smallest thing I have. What you can do at the end, you can choose to eat this as is. Literally, this is so hearty. The vegetables, the chicken, all of this will fill you up. But say if you got any pasta, rice, or anything left over, quinoa. We were talking about all different type of grains. Quinoa. What's the one you said that you eat with your mom growing up, Madison?
Couscous.
Couscous. And then what was the unique one that you said, Kelly? Cheated pepe. I have no clue what that is. She will tell you more about that. But whatever it is that you guys like to have, I mean, you can have your side, your pasta side. Make sure that it's no more than a half cup if possible, so you can stay within the portion size. And honestly, this will fill you up so good. And it's a whole new meal off of little things that you found in your fridge, freezer, and in your pantry. Okay? So we're going to head back over to Kelly, and we can talk more about these unique ideas.
Welcome back. If you want to take a look at this one pot meal, this fabulous Greek skillet, you can see how the tomato and everything and the feta cheese made like almost like a tomatoey sauce. So it looks perfect. The last step to this would just be top it off with that extra feta cheese so that when you put the scoop on your plate, it looks a little garnished and beautiful. And there you have it. Now, like I mentioned, we're making these things in these kind of skillets, but you can certainly use whatever pots you have just on the stovetop. One thing I didn't mention, though, about the meat is that even though this recipe has ground beef in it, you could certainly use like a protein crumble or something if you don't eat meat. You're going to need something like that in this recipe, though. But yeah, you can use like a protein crumble or something like that. As same thing with this recipe. This is a soup, and it's utilizing something that a lot of us have in our pantry, but maybe don't want to admit or have really strong feelings about, the famous ramen noodles. So in the first recipe, we used things that you probably have in your pantry too. Maybe you can pick some of these things up when it's on sale, stock up on things like broth, diced tomatoes, pastas, and you can whip together just about any kind of dish. But for this particular soup, we're going to use ramen noodle soup. And I know that's a soup too, but what I wanted to show you is that you can make that a better meal, a one-pot meal with a lot of color in it, with your rainbow in it. And we're just going to whip this up real quick. Now, this is ground meat too. So, of course, you can use the beef crumbles or something like that. And what's great about these two meals is that if I bought a larger container of ground meat, I could have made it all at one time, used what I needed for this, and then pulled the rest out of the freezer ready to go for this meal. And it would save me a lot of time. So if you buy like a larger container of ground meat, split it up, and then you can have it ready for different recipes. This one is no onion, though. It's just the brown ground meat. And the seasonings we've added here are ginger and pepper, and I've already put those in there. It's important that you season the meat with that after you've drained it, because if you season it beforehand, you're going to drain all of the flavor away. So this is nice and brown. It's a little too brown, actually, because it's been in here for a while. Seasoned meat. All right, now we're going to use the same amount of broth, actually, that was in the Greek skillet. It's 14 ounces. So if you're buying this in a can, it would be a whole can of beef broth. But I'm going to measure out my 14 rather. My 14 ounces of beef broth. And then 2 cups of water. Now, when you make ramen noodle soup, it calls for 2 cups of water anyway. We've added extra broth in there because we're going to be putting some extra ingredients in there. And you might notice I'm using a liquid measure. It's important when you're following a recipe. I mean, you could play around with these and experiment too, but if you're following a recipe that calls for a liquid measure, you want to make sure you're using a measuring cup, one of these, not a cup, because that's for dry stuff. All right, so we've got all of our liquid in there. That's going to be the soup. And then we're adding vegetables. So this is the great step to this, because ramen noodles are popular and they're awfully tasty, but we're going to add vegetables in it to make it more of a my plate friendly kind of meal. It calls for frozen stir fry mix, but that is not available today, thanks to me. So Michelle had all this great stuff left over from her recipe. So it's possible you made a stir fry earlier in the week and you still have like some veggies left over. Anything frozen will do here. I'm going to use some of the fresh veggies that we just kind of had left over from other things. And I'm just using a combination of what I've got. So I have some fresh carrots, some pea pods, some green onions, and I'm going to put some mushrooms in there too. So you can make this however you think your family would like it. Use up stuff from the farmer's market or anything frozen or fresh that you have laying around. You're going to want about 3 cups of vegetables in here. If you add any more than that, it's going to get kind of stewy. And if you want it more like a soup, then you're going to want 3 cups of vegetables in there. So we've added a lot of color, and I'm hoping this gets boiling here in a minute.
Someone commented, she said that both recipes look good and healthy and that she didn't know that there was a difference in measuring cups.
All right. Yep. See, now this kind of cooking you can be a little more flexible with. When you're baking, you want to be really precise. So that's probably a good tip to keep in mind when you're baking, to use the right kind of measuring utensil. One thing I didn't mention, and I probably should have at the beginning of this, when you are using meat, it's important to know that it's cooked appropriately. And so it's a good idea to have a food thermometer in your kitchen. This is the one I use all the time because it has the labels right on there of what most meats should be coming up to. But we're starting to include these on the recipes too. So like this ground meat should be 160, 165 so that you know it's completely done. Okay, so here's the fun part, and your kids can do this. You're gonna squeeze these ramen noodles until they're little pieces. And you're putting these noodles right in there, the whole packet. It looks really cute too. Okay, I'm crunching these up so they're little bits. And then we are going to use some of the packet. Now, this packet is loaded with salt, sodium, and I'm going to challenge you guys out there to guess how much sodium in milligrams do you think is in this one packet. Now, this packet of ramen noodles is 2 servings, so if you eat the whole thing with the whole packet, how much sodium do you think is in there? And let's see what kind of numbers you come up with. Well, I give this a stir. Any guesses so far?
Not yet, but someone mentioned that adding corn would be good to this dish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this could be anything that you have left over and you want to use up. You know, most soups are like that. You could just throw in any kind of vegetables you got laying around. What makes this fun is that it's a recognizable ramen thing, but you're adding vegetables, so you're adding all this nutrition. I'm only going to use half this packet because when somebody gets the right answer, I think you're going to be blown away by how much salt is in here.
Someone guessed 12 milligrams, and then someone guessed 1,200 grams.
Okay, so you're both in the neighborhood number-wise. It is 1,440 milligrams, so 1,440 milligrams in this packet. And when I talk to patients, if you were interested in talking to someone on the wellness team, if you're an NFP patient and you want to have an appointment with us, I talk to people all the time about their blood pressure and how cutting back on salt is a surefire way to help your blood pressure come down. And that is about as much sodium as we recommend for a person in an entire day, 1,500. So you don't want to use that whole packet. I've put about half the packet in there just for some flavor. But you could certainly skip that packet altogether and use a salt-free blend of things and just kind of play around with it. And season it up the way that your family would like it. It's starting to boil, so you're going to want to let it boil for a while to get the noodles tender and the vegetables tender too. I've used a pea pod in here, and I had to ask Madison how to prep these pea pods. What you want to do with pea pods is just peel the little membrane off, like the skin kind of down the center. Otherwise, it's a little tough and chewy. So I did that to all the pea pods you see in here. But this is almost like an Asian-inspired dish, and it smells great. And it's a great one-pot meal. Now, what else is great about these is that you can prepare this larger batch, maybe even double some of these recipes, and then put them into containers for later. And I brought with me, it's called like a bento box. And I think some families got these as incentives for our live shows. But these are microwave safe and they're dishwasher safe. And so what I like about these is I just line them up on my kitchen counter. And when something like this is done, I immediately portion it out into 4 or 5 boxes and stick them in the refrigerator, and then they're ready to heat up. So it's stuff that you made, you know what's in it, and you can grab it for lunch the next day or for dinner a couple nights in a row. If you live alone or there are 2 of you, you know, sometimes it's difficult to make just enough food. So this is just a way that you can right away portion it into containers and then use it later. We call that meal prepping. It's not very difficult, but you just have to invest in some good containers to do that. All right, any questions coming through or anything?
Someone mentioned that they actually sometimes add more salt to their ramen noodles.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, make an appointment with wellness because we'll talk about that. All right. So we've got 3 great things going on here.
Yeah, some really great meals we were able to put together with things that were left over in our freezer, fridge, pantry, and I mean, they're all very appetizing in their own unique ways. And like I said earlier, you'll see across all 3 recipes is very similar ingredients with just minor tweaks. But it looked like you spent a long time in the kitchen making up these Martha Stewart, what's her name? I love her. Reed Drummond, Pioneer Woman. You know, any Cooking Food Network channel folks. It looked like you really did a lot of great things. And so this is just the plated dish that we had with that stir fry and just topped it on top of a half a cup. That is literally a half a cup. I actually measured it. A half a cup of brown rice. And I'm telling you, eat this, you're going to be so full. And then I noticed I didn't blend in the lemon zest before you guys left. I use that as the garnish since someone reminded me we need some herbs up in here. So I usually top things off with some herbs, but I did not bring it. So the lemon zest did the trick there. And I tell you, when the lemon zest hit the heat and the steam of that dish, it was so aromatic in here. It really, really tastes good. And it gives it like this sweet, like the sweet tangy flavor with all those ingredients.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
Lemons good with the broccoli.
Oh, yeah. Really, really is. So you got tons of different, talk about my plate in the colorful rainbow. All of these dishes are extremely colorful. You're getting all of your food groups, if you will, or the portions of the plate incorporated in one pot meals. It's easy. You can literally take these meals that were leftovers, which, I forgot to say the slogan, love your leftovers. That's what this is about. You're loving your leftovers and you're getting your family to love it too. And you all get creative and, you know, allow the kids and everyone to just join in and make it a challenge. What can we do with what we have left over and make it like a whole new meal? And so we definitely done that, and you don't have to go out and spend extra money. It's already there in your kitchen area.
Probably.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges we're going to challenge you guys with is why not take a look at what you've got right now in your pantry, in your freezer, and if you can take a picture of that and then come up with something real snazzy and send us a picture of that, we'd love to see it. Or you can challenge us by sending a picture of what you got in your pantry, and we'll see if we can't come up with
That's right.
something.
We
you
like
can do with
challenges.
that. Yeah.
We like challenges. So what you're saying is they'll send a picture of what they have in their fridge, in their freezer, in their pantry, and then we have to get creative.
Yeah.
I like that.
See what we can do with it, and we'll
I
name
like
it
that.
after you.
Oh, I like that. So as of today, this is right now our last session for this One is For You series. But we're going to continue to engage with you guys through our Facebook page. And that is our Wellness for You Facebook group. It was started specifically for that purpose, to engage with y'all in the middle of these sessions and then from here on out. So that way you can share with us any of your pictures. If you guys are recording, you and your family doing any type of wellness things, not just cooking, but getting moving, doing mindfulness, breathing techniques, taking care of yourself, fun moments. I heard that if you skip and if you smile separately or together, you cannot stay upset. So if you smile, it'll brighten up your mood. Nobody can skip angrily. Right? Some research says that. So I actually had my family try that. And it actually works. Like things like that, fun, engaging, just relaxing things that we can do together and continue to learn from one another and get well together. So be sure to join that Facebook group, because that's where we're going to be looking for these challenges, and we'll still distribute these great incentives. Speaking of, really quick, Madison, if you wanted to get another look at these incentives, I'll walk over there with you so folks can see the importance of completing those evaluations, the surveys at the end. And I know some folks they asked, where is it? It's this is the live session. So in the post itself, where you see the words above, you just click on the see more, or I think say see more with the words, and it expands more, and you'll see the different links. So you see the link to our website, you'll see the link to our Wellness for You Facebook page, and you'll see the link to the evaluation. And it'll say, here's the link for this, here's the link for that, here's the link for that. So that's where you want to click, and it will prompt up in your screen, computer, phone, wherever, so you can complete that survey. We know if you complete it because it gives us your name. So be sure to complete it, include your email address, your number, so we can get you these great gifts. The folks that guessed that challenge with the sodium, you both are winning one of these great gifts. So we have a lot of good stuff that ties into the things that we've done over this past 4 sessions. You have the rice cooker. You have a great casserole dish that's going to come in handy. You have a indoor electric grill. That's perfect for folks, whether you have outdoor grill or not, but definitely if you live in an apartment complex. We have one, and it's a smokeless indoor grill, which makes all the difference in the world. Very great gifts. These good gadgets, they're just fun. You know, they keep the avocado and the banana from ripening. Who doesn't need one of those? This is a great master cutting board suite, and all of these great items come in there. And it's a way to store it on your counter, and it's a space saver. So these are pretty cool. These good pans here, you can do, look at that, make some good quesadillas, fajitas on there, even, whole grain pancakes or keto pancakes, something like that. Another great way to make like a stir fry crab roll or something like that. Now this is, whether it's turkey bacon, vegan bacon, whatever bacon you choose, or if you like pork or beef bacon, this is how you can make it in the microwave with the microwave splatter free safe dish. This is a berry keeper, to go back to our farmers market series on how to keep your fresh produce longer and save money and reduce food waste. That's that rice cooker we were talking about. And it also serves as a dual vegetable steamer. So this is a perfect way to have something on the side, and it takes up less space on your stove. And these are just fun because we love the kiddos and we miss seeing them all the time. So who doesn't love a good Taco Tuesday or taco any day, really? And these are just cool plates with the little inserts, and they can place their tacos or whatever in there. And on the side, they can have their side dishes, refried beans or something like that, or whatever salad you want to have with that. So there you have it. Just some great fun gifts that we want to gift you guys with. So please engage. Sign up for the Wellness for You. We know who's signing up for it, right? Because it alerts us. We know who completed the evaluation. And we know if you share and comment and engage. So do that, and all of these are coming your way. We'll schedule some time with you guys next week, more than likely Wednesday, so you can come by and pick them up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out the nfpmedcenter.org website, because we have a brand new wellness tab. All the recipes that we've covered through this entire Wellness for You series are there, plus additional resources on like food safety and keeping your stuff fresh and utilizing leftovers. We've got great resources on there, and we're constantly updating that, so check that out when you can. And there's also information on there about making an appointment to come see myself or a member of the wellness team just to sit down and kind of troubleshoot, you know, if anything's going on with your diet or if you have questions about food. We'd be glad to talk to you. We're doing them virtually right now, but we'd be happy to see you and help you out with that. But all right,
That's it for now.
Yeah.
For now. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and we look forward to your pictures. Please send those in to the Wellness for You Facebook page. You just join, and then you can upload your pictures and everything, and we can keep this fun time going. Kelly and I will also be doing some things in our neck of the woods, like, I don't know, popping up in a grocery store, doing something unique, and, you know, just being creative, just to kind of keep the dialogue going and showing you guys the tips and tricks that we know can help, like, with everything that you have going on, and make things a little bit less stressful in your day-to-day. All right, so we look forward to talking to you guys. Do we have any comments or?
Some people saying thank you, and thank you for always trying to teach us new ways how to cook fast and healthy. Someone said, we'll miss you. This is a great class. Someone said, I love these videos. And I'll miss your sessions. They've been fun and educational.
Oh,
all right, well, tell your friends.
yeah. And then we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Wellness for You Facebook. Just remember that. And get in touch with Kelly and our wellness team. Yeah. So then you get to see her in person, at least through video, through virtual means. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon.